What's going on? Welcome to Truth Wizard. How you doing? It's good to see you. It's good to be here. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to go over, man. A lot of shit happening today. UFOs, switching timelines, ghosts, politics, people just out of their damn minds. We're going to touch on every single last bit of it. So I hope you are ready. And with that being said, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're going to get right into it.
Okay, so you know how they say that the past, present, and future is all existing simultaneously? The way that we perceive time in chronological order linearly is not the way that time actually moves if the past, present, and future are all existing simultaneously. Everything in the universe starts with the Fibonacci sequence. The universe is literally composed of mathematical equations. Every single thing grows in this pattern. It's a hurricane, a galaxy, an ammonite, a succulent, an acorn. You can even see this in any fetus. Galaxies are formed this way. Like the list goes on, you get it. When you see the Fibonacci sequence in 3 dimensions, you see it in these staircases or in a tornado. So for those that believe this block theory that time is not happening linearly, that all time is happening simultaneously and time is happening in the 4th dimension. Stay with me. What if time is happening in the Fibonacci sequence? Like, if you take a look at this staircase, every single person on this staircase, no matter what point they're at on the staircase, they can see each other. Another one made of glass, just to make you get the idea better. I know this might be hard to grasp, but I feel like I'm onto something here. If everything starts and grows in this pattern, what if this is the energetic architecture of the path of our lives, the growth of our lives, and the way that time moves? In 2016, when I first opened my third eye, I had this vision of the Fibonacci sequence unwinded like this in the 3 dimension, and I saw a man go through his entire life in the Fibonacci sequence. But the bottom was the widest point and the top was the smallest point. He started his life at the bottom, at the opening, and as he went up to death and enlightenment, he got to the top. As that path narrows, though, there's less and less room. Like, pretend you're in a tunnel and you have less room for things that are unimportant. So I was watching this man go through this cycle of his life where all of these things that he thought were important no longer became important the closer that he got to death. There is something about the Fibonacci sequence that is so sacred that my brain is trying so hard to understand, because I am always getting these downloads about the Fibonacci sequence and I cannot quite put my finger on what the fuck it is. But the other day, get this download. Time moves in the Fibonacci sequence. That is how you can see all time happening simultaneously, because no matter what point you are at in the Fibonacci sequence, whether it is unwound in the 3D or it is in 2 dimensions, you would be able to see at any given point in time. Does that make sense? Or do I just sound crazy?
So here's the thing. While I do agree with her, I don't really know enough about this. I haven't really given that any thought or ever looked into this much. But on paper, just as a very quick TikTok, it looks she's got a point. She could have some legitimacy here. Could be on something. Now, the one thing that she didn't say, unless I missed it, was that not so much a Fibonacci spiral has to do with you learning what's important and what's not in life as you age, but more important still to the time. Is that why time speeds up as you get older? Older you get, the faster those years go, man. Before you know it, it's Christmas. Then we're already at 4th of July. Then it's already Christmas again. Rinse and repeat. And you see a lot of that talk now on TikTok, social media. Again, a lot of the young end of millennials to the now the older Gen Zs or the very early Gen Zers are starting to experience that because they're now starting to age or getting to that point. So are they getting to that point? Are they hitting that point of the spiral? They start making that turn. And now we're all experiencing time so much faster as that spiral closes in and tightens up as you age. I don't think she said that, but maybe that's what she meant. And if she didn't mean it, she didn't say it. Well, there you go. Just a thought. I don't know. What do you think? Is that totally stupid? Do you have anything to contribute to this, to add to what she was saying or myself? If you have any good information, let me know. Make a comment on it. and just help me out there. Let's use our brains and work together here because this is a pretty interesting thought, I think. Hey, there we go.
President Trump is banning immigration from Somalia. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's terrible.
Why?
I just think that there's a lot of bad things going on in Somalia, and we should be taking people in war-torn countries in.
We should be taking them in.
I already know where this is going. And she doesn't take anybody in.
Well, we're trying to get people today to sign up to take in a Somali migrant. Would you be able to do that?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I could or not. I don't live in New York,
Well, that's okay. Where do you live?
Massachusetts.
We could send them to Massachusetts if that's all right. Could we get your name, email address, and then how many you'd be able to take in?
I couldn't do that without talking to my husband first.
Fair
I might be
enough.
open to it,
You might be open to it.
but I would want to have more information first.
Okay. Could we just get your information just in case you?
Only because I don't know who you are.
Oh, I'm Matt.
Okay, that's her very polite way of saying she's not interested and she's not going to do it. But if I'm not mistaken, you and I just heard her say, we, as in the overall country, should be taking in all of these migrants from war-torn countries. But when she has to uphold her end of the obligations or responsibilities, she doesn't want to do anything. So, to me, just an opinion, kind of makes her full of shit. Just saying. And by the way, we're going to get more on this later because it's going to be relevant to subject matter on this channel. But if you're still picking sides politically from anybody, left, right, up, down, whatever, stop. We got to stop. I don't do politics anybody's side. I'm on nobody's team, politically speaking, because it doesn't matter. It does not matter. So just keep that in mind, and we're going to get more into that a little bit later. But let's continue.
Miller.
Yeah, I get that, but I do it through an organization.
Yeah, right. It took me a second, but I hear it now. He is clearly recording something from the sky, I would imagine. One of those situations. Weird, man. Surely all of those videos cannot be fake. And maybe it's because I've just only recently started to see them just by coincidence. Maybe, I don't know. But, excuse me, I've recently seen a resurgence in videos like that where people are recording weird shit from the sky again, or they're recording rumblings and booming sounds coming from the ground, underground, within the ground and the earth. And some of y'all might know, some of you might not know, this has been going on for a long time. if you remember old school YouTube, old school like 2010, 11, 12, back in that era, these videos existed then. I mean, obviously not that exact same video, but like people were recording things then, 15 years ago, 13 years ago. They were recording weird shit they were hearing in the sky. They were recording weird rumbling sounds. There was segments from local, news broadcasts doing the same thing now, asking questions, investigating, calling law enforcement, local military bases. It's been going on for a long time. So that being said, some of these videos could be frauds, but I really think there's really no chance that all these videos depicting stuff, whether it be, mind you, UFOs, ghosts, paranormal activity, any kind of, weird, anomalies, sounds coming from the sky or within the earth. I just don't think they're all fake. It seems so unlikely that's the case. And I just think it's very intriguing. Again, it's been going on a while back. So let me know too if you remember, or if you can still find, or where I could find some of those videos on YouTube, because I've looked and I swear it's not my imagination. I think a lot of the shit's got scrubbed. Maybe it's just buried and I don't know where to look. But some of the old videos, again, 15 to 13 years ago, they existed, but I don't see them anymore. But if you can find them, let me know. And if you remember them from that, that far back, let me know as well. Very intriguing. I've never had the pleasure of hearing any of those weird sounds in person, or feeling or hearing any of the weird rumbles or booms coming from, within the earth. But I kind of hope I get to hear that, because I want to see what it's like in person. I want to hear that for myself. It's kind of the same thing with this. Maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but maybe one of y'all can help me. Was it not like 20 teens ish that there was like that spiral was recorded in the sky? It was at nighttime, and there was a spiral. It started off as just kind of very tight, and then it just got bigger and bigger, and it was just a big ass fucking spiral in the sky, and it eventually kind of stopped, and just like, if I recall right, it's kind of a scattering out. And I want to say this was, again, like, mid 20 teens, maybe 2014, 2017, and maybe my timeline's all messed up, and it was more like 2011, 13. I don't know. Maybe it was debunked, legitimately debunked, and I also missed that. But I think about that in relation to what I just said. Like, stuff like this has been happening for a while. There's been recordings of these things for a long time. So maybe I've been tricked, through all my 20s and 30s, and I've just been led to believe some shit, and I've been totally misgauging and miscalculating things. I guess, fine, fair enough. I still just don't think all this stuff is fake, man. It's just a bunch of people using fucking Photoshop and CGI and all this stuff. Like, I just don't, especially 10, 15 years ago. That being said, I'm also very tired of being told that it's Elon Musk and SpaceX rockets, or any kind of weird light is some kind of an arena concert from Taylor Swift, or insert some popular rapper or pop artist Like, it's insane. It's absolutely crazy to me that they just keep saying the same lame ass, lazy excuses for everything. And it was like that with UFOs in the 90s. You go back and watch some of the UFO documentaries, or, you know, the big shows on Fox that would premiere on a Friday night on fucking Fox. They would have like UFOs. Remember all the alien autopsy shit, things like that. And some of that probably was very much fake. But I don't know. I don't know, man. At this point, I don't know. Maybe they were showing you some legit real shit, and then it was meant, you know, as a what, a psyop. And everybody's like, ah, man, they're not gonna put that on Fox on Friday night at 8 o'clock. No, man, they're not gonna do that. That's dumb. And probably not, but you never know. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know. That being said, even back in that era, if you saw a UFO, it was a weather balloon. It was swamp gas. It was ice crystals that were bouncing off of a fucking random rare phenomenon of a cloud that solidified because of the cold. And that's how the ice crystal formed. And a fucking 737 flew by at just the right time, just that split second to make that ice crystal shoot off that one direction and appear as if it was a UFO shooting off into the night sky. And it's like that explanation of what you saw that they give you was more fucking ridiculous than the fact of like, you just saw a UFO. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I hope you know what I mean, because I'm over that shit. So you'll probably hear me mocking that a gajillion times throughout these videos, because why not? It's still funny to me, and I'll beat that dead horse completely senseless. Let's move on.
The middle of the night to this thunderous sound happening in the sky. It looks like something out of Stranger Things. And some people speculate it could mean the beginning of end of times, like that dude Ebo Noah, who's building 7 arks, prepping for the flooding and the end of the world. He speculates that the end of the world could happen on December 25th.
Boo. Boo. Why are we still even entertaining people that also are going to sit here and claim they know when the end of the world's going to happen? I'm also over that. Let's be done with it. You guys don't know. You're not going to know. No one knows. Let's just stop. And these people end up getting bukus of money, all kind of followings. And then what's worse are the people, if I remember hearing correctly, during the whole rapture charade this past fall, allegedly a person or a few people sold their houses, their belongings, because they were that convicted they were going to be raptured. How like, where did you get the information from? Because I don't understand. I don't get it. And how do we keep following these dates and like all this religious, I'm just going to say it, religious bullshit? Nothing has come to fruition so far. There's been still zero proof. The proof is what you want to see, what you choose to see, what you cherry pick to fit into your life following that religion narrative. That's all that is. But this has been a failed situation now, God knows how many times. Anyway, that's absurd. But these lights as well, this particular video, same thing. This shit was on old school YouTube 10, 15 years ago. You were seeing this shit. This was recorded over in Europe, recorded stateside, and still happening, unless you're just telling me that people have been faking this for 15 years just for shits and giggles, and that's possible. I just feel like it's probably a little unlikely, especially the 15 years ago, even 12 years ago mark, when editing a video and having all the editing shit and Photoshop and filters, it is not like it was today. You did not just have every average Joe with that on a first gen smartphone. wasn't happening.
Meaning we won't be getting a Christmas and we won't be seeing the end of Stranger Things. Now, this went on for quite some time, and I would be pretty alarmed if I was this person as well. And here's what people are saying it probably is. These people are saying that this is a high pressure valve lifting from a power plant. Other people have different theories. If it is in fact a high pressure valve lifting, you would expect that people would have experienced this before. But nonetheless, something like this happening in the middle of the night is definitely alarming and low key kind of fun. But what do you guys think?
I think the world ended in 2012. Okay. Now, a couple things happened. For one, you guys know about CERN, right?
No.
Okay, CERN, the Hydrogen Collider. And what that is they discovered the God particle through that. And they've been doing tests since this thing is fired up that have to do with what makes up the universe, the secrets of the universe, right? So since this thing has fired up in 2012, they said in theory, it could have collapsed time itself or Earth or ended the Earth from what we know it, right? Because they're smashing atoms together and doing all these different things. So that fired up in 2012. What movie was about a world-ending event?
2012?
2012. Okay. So after all,
Not sure what that movie has to do with what he's saying. So as much as I don't believe pretty much anything that we've been taught or anything that they still try to teach or tell you to a fault, not everything is a conspiracy and not everything is something that you're being told to trick you. And that's the tricky part. Because there is some truth sandwiched in the lies, but there, it's a lot more lies than there is truth. But then there's some things I think that are or possibly were past tense, I'm not sure, neutral, like that movie, for instance. I don't really think that 2012 coming out in 2012 had anything to do with what he's talking about. I think that was just Hollywood saw an opportunity, a money grab, made a movie that was all about a hot topic, because let's think carefully here. 2011, 2010, 2009, several years out, plenty of time to make a blockbuster movie to come out right at the year all the world was supposed to end, right? So several years prior to 2012, this was a hot talking point, and it was very widely discussed. So of course, they could make a movie about it, and now you've got 50 million at the box office, 100 million at the box office. No conspiracy required. Now, do I believe they do show you things in movies to desensitize you? Maybe a little bit of foreshadowing of the future, somehow some odd distance out? Yeah, absolutely. But I also wonder, is it that? Or are they putting that out into existence and willing it into existence? Does that make sense? There was a movie, who was it, with Tom Cruise and Minority Report, if I have the movie correctly, where he had like all the holographic shit or what looked like an iPad or something at the time in the movie. I think it was that movie, Minority Report. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me, but I'm almost sure it was that movie. But again, the point is, were they telegraphing and showing you what was to come in, 4 or 5 years? Or was that put into the film to distribute to tens of millions of people and to get them thinking about that, seeing that tech, talking about it, fantasizing about it, seeing how cool it is, marveling over, wow, look at this, it's amazing. And because that happened, like they were using the movies to get to the people for them to talk about it, put all that out into the ether, and they willed it into existence and allowed others to absorb those thoughts to create that technology. Does that make sense? I'm going to try to get back to that maybe in the next episode here, because I want to expand on that, because I do think that there is, well, I have a theory about that. It's kind of told you, but we can get a little more in depth into it, that they're actually willing things into existence for a later date. I got off on a tangent here. Let me reverse, let this young man finish. The point is, I just don't think that the movie has something to do, again, with 2012 or the world ending. I think it was just a money grab from Hollywood, saw an opportunity, made something very relevant, so they did. That's all.
Well, that I think after 2012, other timelines have been colliding with each other, right? So the world we knew ended. And now what we're seeing is layers of different realities happening. So to that point, that lady may be from somewhere, another timeline that's not from ours, that bled into ours and then disappeared. Now, there's another story about something similar happening back in the 50s.
I've heard about this.
Guy came into the airport and they were like, this place doesn't exist.
Allegedly a time traveler.
It might have been the same place. It sounded very eerily similar to that. He had a passport. You said, hey, I'm from here. It's in between here and here, somewhere in Europe. Never existed. And then they locked him in a room, interrogated him for hours. And then they leave and they come back. They locked him up. He's still in the room. He's gone.
It's the same thing that happened to the lady. It's the same thing that happened to the lady.
Same thing.
The
They don't know where she is.
They said she disappeared.
Disappeared in the room. They locked the room.
And then allegedly they found her somewhere else on the street, but it was just it wasn't her anymore.
So I think that's what we're seeing. Because again, we could come up with theories and all this other stuff, but I try to connect the dots in, what reality and documented evidence and what things are actually happening. Because if you look into CERN, that is happening. That is real.
I don't know. I saw that, and I forget what program. It might have been the Y-Files. He might have had that on there. Don't hold me to that. I don't remember. Surely, if you're watching this, you know of the Y-Files on YouTube. It's a really good show. Dude does a hell of a job. I like it a lot. And I'm almost certain it was on that. But it was about a time traveler who, as you heard, arrived and claimed he was from whatever, a country that no one here knew about, didn't exist on a map, but he was trying to point out on a map where it was. And there was, I forget what country as well. Another country was there. It was not where he said it was, but it existed. It just wasn't the name. But he allegedly, I remember it being, he had a camera, or there was even some type of photo evidence. There was some kind of evidence to go with this that made it a little bit more intriguing or plausible. So I don't know. Maybe I can need to dive into that, or if you recall, and you can type it in a comment or comments, let me know, refresh my memory. And with that, guys, too, this is going to wrap it up for this episode. This very first, again, thanks for joining me. Hopefully I can continue to work on this, critique it, get a little better for you. And once again, I want to recap and let you know, I hope this is not too broad, but we're going to do everything here. I have no religion affiliation, got no political affiliation. I'm open-minded to a point. You better have some good sources other than trust me, bro. But I'm also down for some of that too, because we don't know everything, but it better be some good shit to change my mind about something, or to get me to hop on a bandwagon, because I don't like trends, don't like bandwagons. That being said, though, again, let's talk about everything, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff going on. So episode 2, I'll see what I can find for you guys, what we can drum up, and hopefully I don't stir the pot too much, but I kind of want to get some good feedback, and hopefully we can all be open-minded and be a real, true community that, we can, again, engage in these discussions and challenge each other. That's what it's all about. That's what I think. Hopefully you agree. Like it, subscribe to it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.